What's up, everybody? This is a special demonstration version of Insiders TV. We're talking about the Fantasy Elite app that is now available in the Apple Store for your iPhone, iTouch, or iPad. Soon will be coming out for the Android. I know there's been a lot of talk about the Android users out there not being able to access it yet. So that is one of the reasons why we're doing this demonstration, is because we want to show people that may not be able to download it yet exactly what all the fuss has been about. So just as before we get into demonstrating the app, and you can see me probably losing in all my drafts, just want to again tell people that one of the reasons why we're behind this app is because not only is Grant Girton, the CEO of Fanium and also the CEO now of Fantasy Elite, not only is he a good friend and a co-host on one of the shows, but this is just a great app. And it's something that is simple, but it adds strategy. And we talked about overlap the other day, and you don't get any overlap. And there is a lot of different elements of strategy, and as the game improves and adds more stuff, it'll just be even more strategic and even more players that come in. So we're not going to talk a whole lot about strategy. What we're mainly going to do is just kind of show off what the fuss is about. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just kind of show you the game. So I've got this on my handy dandy iPad, and as I scroll, you can see the movement on the screens. Oh, neato. So I'm going to enter some games. As you can see, I've already entered, I guess, 5 games. Another great thing about the Elite app is that you have different slates of games. So even after like the early games tip, you can still draft in the late slate of games. So they're broken down into typically 3 or 4 game segments. So what we're going to do is I'm going to register for some games. You can see if you click on the open games, if you click on the open games, you can see who's in there and the games and the entry date, yada yada yada. So Putinami and Mr. Tuttle are the guys currently kind of occupying all the games. Putinami has been one of the early adopters. There's the triple up. There's the heads up, the Fantastic Four, and the main event. So I'm going to do some heads up games. And so all you have to do is click enter and click the back arrow to go back. So let's see. We'll do a $1 game and a $5 game to kind of start out. So if you want to be on TV, just take my game. Let's see. And there's some questions in the chat. If you have any questions in the chat or questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and the CEO Grant Girton is in there. We'll try to read some of those aloud, and also are going to be giving you some of the new updates that will be soon available for the game. So again, it just keeps on improving. But you saw a notification come up that said that basically I'm on the clock. So I'll go to my games, and you'll see it says I'm on the clock. And let's see, I'm going to click rosters, and I'm going against Drew Dinkmeyer. I'm not refunding you, Drew, if I lose or if I win. Of course, I'm not refunding if I lose. So I'm on the clock, and I'm going to go to my starred players. These are the players that I have starred, and these are my favorites. So again, you'll see Nick Calathis at the top. He was also in the article on fantasyinsiders.com that Versatile, our own Jake Brown, wrote. If you haven't checked that out yet, do so. Calathis is the cover boy. So he's going to be my first pick. And I'm going to go back to see my other games. And sure enough, I'm on the clock. Let's see who this game is against. Oh, Fifey. And he selected Harrison Barnes with the first pick. So You can either go cheap, you can go middle of the round, or you can grab the expensive players first. So that's what I'll do here. I'll grab Curry because Bogut and Lee are out. So that's the late slate. So you see I'm drafting one late slate, one early slate. Notification comes up. Since it's a snake draft, I forgot that I've got another pick here. So I've got $8,889 per player left. So let's go cheap. I like Larry Sanders, and I like Jermaine O'Neal as your options. I'm going to go with Larry Sanders. So there's going to be my 2 first picks. Drew is being slow as molasses. Maybe he's just allowing me to demonstrate. Napsterman says, so if the draft doesn't complete before lock, everyone just gets refunded? Yes. If the draft is not complete before lock, everyone gets refunded. That is correct. As far as the favorites feature goes, you see that I had late, early. Sometimes after days go by, you have a lot of different favorites. You might want to clear that out. So what you want to do is click the 3-stripe bar up there at the top. It says I'm on the clock. Hold on. And then you click your player research tab. Go to your starred, and at the bottom you'll see an option that says clear all. So I'll clear all, and then go back to my games, and then you'll see I'm on the clock. And if I click the stars, there's no more star players. So I would have to start over. So I will go ahead and select. Let's select my boy Giannis. And we'll just go with pressure. We'll go with Iggy without Lee and Bogut. So I'll go to my other games, and I'm on the clock. And we'll go with Tim Duncan, because I know that Drew probably wanted him. So, got you, Drew. Go on the clock again. Let's go with somebody cheap. We'll go with Courtney Lee. And so you can see when you're not drafting, that's when you can select players to your favorites. So you see a star beside people's name. I like Singler tonight. He's been getting more minutes. So I'll star Singler. Then when I go to my star list, Singler is right there. Let's see, Lawson. I like Lawson. I like Drummond, Randolph, Smith. So I go to my list, and what you can do is you click on the 3-stripe bars, and you can basically order them in whatever order. So if you're away from the clock, it'll automatically draft from your favorites list. If you don't have your favorite set up, it'll just kind of pick from the middle. You don't want that. You would have to do the late swap afterwards. So you see in the late games, I'm just going to star some players so I can have someone to pick from. And you see the minimum is 5,000, and you have to have, for the head-to-head games, 2 guards, 2 forwards, a center, and 3 utilities. Now, for the larger games, like the 6-player games, there are only 4 or 5-man rosters. I can't remember which one. For triple ups, it's the same as heads up. So for the larger games you go, the less options you have. And again, they'll be building upon this. Let's see, where am I on the clock? Touche. Let's go with Draymond, and then see if O'Neal is taken. I can go to rosters and see that, yes, he is taken. And that is another thing, is if you go to another person's roster and you like some of their picks, all you have to do is star them. And it'll go right into your list. Let's star my players while we're at it. So I like all of Fifey's picks, and that's that'll help me in future drafts. More love for my Warriors. Let's see. I don't have a center, so let's get a center before he snipes him. I'll take slow Mark Gasol. And then let's see if he has any centers. Does he? He does not. So I'll go ahead and take I'll go ahead and take Drummond. So with that, some questions, and Grant clarifying that the undercard and main event are 6 players. The free rolls are 3 players. Head-to-head, triple up, Fantastic Four are all 8 players. Mr. Tuttle says, Dave, how did Aaron Gray work out for you last night? Not so hot. I had a great team. I got a 0 from Aaron Gray because as I was drafting so many teams, I realized in the triple up that everyone had been taking all the available centers. So I ended up with complete trash at the center position. So we'll get done. As soon as we get done with this draft, I think Fifey's draft will probably get done sooner. Or I can go just to a previous draft. So I can go to one of these drafts that I've already completed. Let's go with this triple up. And if I want to drop a player, I'll go to my roster. And then you see all the guys on my team. And Splitter is questionable tonight. So I'll click drop. And then you'll see I can replace him with anybody. And you can do this even after games have started, as long as the person you're trying to drop and the person you're trying to replace with, as long as their games haven't started. So same thing as some of the other late swap sites like DraftKings and StarStreet. So I'll obviously need to go down here, and let's just go with my boy McCollum. And it'll automatically move, like if you got a player in the forward position, you have another forward in the utility spot, it'll automatically switch those around. So you don't have to manually switch out the forward and then replace like some other draft sites. So I've got 2 utilities left. Let's just go ahead and knock these bad boys out. 9,043 a player, or I could go cheap with a 5,000 and a $13,000 player. Tell you what, I'll draft Parsons going up against Milwaukee. And then Beasley, Battier. We'll just go Spates. So you see him on the clock with Drew. 82.95. Let's see who Drew drafted. Oh, he got Green. I like Green. I had him in my earlier favorites list. Foy's a good pick. He got a center in Lopez. I figured he would. He knows that I like Lopez. So I've got 3 players. If I did 2 minimum salary, I'd have room for 14,886. So I'll go Zebo, and it'll give me 5,500 a player. Mr. Tuttle said he even took freaking Mozgov just to stick me with Gray. We'll see if we can get... So after this is completed, we'll go... I'll talk a little bit about some of the upcoming improvements, and then we'll talk... Well, I'll just draft. I'll just throw out a bunch of drafts. And again, if you want to enter, do so. If your name is not Mr. Tuttle or Putnami or Dink or whoever else. And if you lose, I'll refund you. If you win, you just consider it a tip. So it can be really addicting, especially when you're going, it's like high pace, like when you're doing 4 or 5 drafts, because you see it coming up, like your turn to draft, your turn to draft. So it can be like we need to have like a lightning round where everyone's in like 5 drafts at the same time and get a camera on them to see how quick they are. All right, so I need to get a minimum salary to finish out this roster. So let's go with Patty Mills. If Splitter doesn't play, Mills is the only player that hasn't missed a game tonight. Fun fact. Saw earlier. And not Zeller, not Nandu. Did he get... Oh, man. I know someone that Drew did not get. I should have gotten, but I didn't. All right. So you can click on their player cards and see the latest player update. So if you ever get a question on how many people, or if you get a question on like if they're going to play or not, you can always just click on their name and see the latest updates from the beat writer. So that's the Fanium Twitter feed that they have that other sites use for their player cards, and that will be upcoming on our player cards too. Last pick, let's go with old Kojo. I can't draft him yet, so I'll just star him for when my turn does come up for the last pick. So there you go. Some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Also, updates. This is from Grant. On the player research tab, so if you go to the player research tab, you will see all these, and there will be a way that you can sort by the slate to set your watch list. So instead of having kind of everybody on there, you can do by sortable slate. You see that I have a lot of games going on, and with the new update, you'll be able to slide your game, and so you can like put all your completed games up top or at bottom, wherever you want, and just sort them by early, late, and whatever's drafting. So you can do that manually. Last pick. Let's see who Drew took. He took Turi off because he saw me. He saw me. Dadgummit. It's okay. I'm going to do a drop after this draft is over and get you so good. All right, so that's it. You can also go to your completed games to see games that you've won or lost. And, of course, the green number would be the games that you have actually made something. The payouts are pretty quick, and it'll send you a push notification whenever it'll tell you how much you won for that night. So that's pretty cool that you automatically get that. Want to go to the starters tracker, and this is everyone that you have in your lineups. These are all the tweets about them, so or that have to deal with them. So you see like this. Jackson said Lee and Bogut will not play. O'Neal, the ex-Sun, and Green will start again. Well, since I've got Green, O'Neal, those guys show up in my tracker. If you want to know about the rules and scoring, you click on this, but it's basic. It's basic rules as far as industry specific or industry standard. 1 point for a point, 1.5 for an assist, 1.25 for a rebound, 2 for steals and blocks, and -1 for turnover. There are no bonuses for double-doubles, triple-doubles, or three-pointers, and no deductions for missed shots or missed free throws. So that would be the scoring. And with that, I think we're done. And so I'm just going to basically draft against some people for the next let's say 15 minutes. I'll put out some drafts, and if you see my game, take it, try it out, and the game's on me. All right, the game's on me. Again, though, really cool game, and that is why we're demoing it. And Mr. Tuttle wants me to take his $11. Let me get done with the freaking demo before I do that. Gosh, so impatient. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the DFS Elite Demo Show. It's not really a real show. I just kind of made it up.